I'm here once again for another instrument review. Last video I did, I looked at my Chinese-made A clarinet. Today, we're going to be looking at my Chinese-made C clarinet. And for me, the C clarinet may be the more important of the Chinese instruments for one important reason. It puts a C clarinet easily in the hands of a lot of players. The drawback is it any good? Well, that's what I'm going to be discussing here. The C clarinet is one of the more unusual members of the clarinet family. It does not transpose. And it was seen a lot in the classical and early romantic eras, died out sometime in the late romantic, only to be revived by Mahler and Strauss. It's considered a specialty instrument nowadays. It functions a lot more like the E-flat clarinet. In fact, it needs to use special fingerings like the E-flat clarinet does once you get into the altissimo range. This instrument, I'm going to see if how memory serves me. I paid right around $150 for it. That's pretty incredible for a C clarinet. So let's go over some of the things on it. It is hard rubber, just like the A clarinet. It's brushed to make it look like grenadilla wood. It has very much the same kind of keywork. It's a nickel silver plated. Again, the keys are a little bit bendy, but I don't think these are nearly as bad as they are on the A clarinet, partly because these are shorter keys because it's a smaller instrument. Works pretty well. One unusual feature of this instrument is there is a vent hole right here in the bell, and this aids in the tuning of low F and low E, as well as the clarino B and C. Gotta remember what notes those are. So this is a design that I believe is copied over from the old LeBlanc instruments. I've seen the LeBlanc instruments have this vent hole, and vent holes like this have been used on various instruments. It will function kind of similarly to the Fogues extension. That it's a little piece that puts in here that will add basically an extra tone hole. And I'd like to actually try one of those out on this instrument. The intonation is not as low as it is on the A clarinet, but it's still a little bit low on those couple notes. Let's see, the case is of a different design than the A clarinet case. This one I actually like a lot more. One, it's not glued together. This one is all stitched together, and it's done very well. It's got a nice padding on the outside. Don't have to worry about the weird locks that were on the A clarinet case. This just has regular latches. Nice inside. This instrument also comes with two barrels, just like the A clarinet did. Got these two here. This one I have here in my hand, if I measured it correctly, is 57.5 millimeters, and this one is 56 millimeters. So a millimeter and a half difference between the two barrels. A lot more consistent than the 3 millimeter difference between the two A barrels. So what I'm going to do is attempt to play F major scale, 3 octaves, and one thing you'll notice is when I get into the high register, it does require special fingerings, so I am still working on trying to get those fingerings exactly where they need to be, so a couple of the high notes are a little bit out of tune, but And that's just the basic range of it. Everything right now is sitting flat again. It's cold here, and this instrument needs a harder reed than I have on here. This is the setup I have is Van Doren B45, Bonad ligature, and Leger 2 3/4. This probably needs a 3 or a 3 1/4 for me. This does need a slightly harder reed than the B flat or A clarinet. One thing that is a little different is the tenon receiver here for the mouthpiece is slightly bigger than it is on the A clarinet or my B flat clarinet. So this would be a situation where I'd probably want a separate mouthpiece for these, because if I take this off, it gets compressed in the A clarinet, and if I take it off and put it on here, it's almost feels like it's a millimeter too narrow after I put it on. What I have done is I've taken this and run the cork under some hot water to expand it, and that has swollen the cork so that it fits on a little bit more. But otherwise, that's the only flaw I have in it. It's just that the receiver on this barrel is different than on my other barrels. It's slightly larger. As far as tuning on this instrument goes, I'll do the same test I did on the A clarinet. I'll just play some C's. That's Clarino C. It's reading a little bit flat. And everything here is going to read a little bit flat today. Except that note, which was right on in tune. That note is flat. I'll go down to F and E. And those get progressively flatter as you go down. Again, slightly harder reed will fix that for me personally. Don't think that detracts from the instrument. That's just a me player, because I'm still working on my clarinet skills. I probably will always be working on my clarinet skills. I'll play a little bit on this to give you an idea of the tone quality of the instrument. That said, I do like this instrument. It gives a really viable option for a C clarinet. And that's a Rosé etude that I've been working on. Obviously not perfect. I'm not a perfect player. I don't claim to be. But the C clarinet, it plays pretty well. You know, for $150, it gets you a C. It gets you in the door at least for that. And I've used this on church gigs before where they needed a C instrument to play, and you just read right out of a hymnal or just read off of a normal piece of music. It works really well. And when I'm playing and I can really hear the intonation, this thing, I can really get it to sit pretty well. Particularly because everybody here around here plays a little bit on the flat side. So with this instrument sitting a little bit flat as I've got it set up, not a problem. So the Chinese-made C clarinet, and if you're wondering what brand it is, I can't tell you because there's no brand on these. I get this just directly off of eBay, and I'm not sure which manufacturer it's coming out of. I don't think this one is coming out of the Jinbao factory, but I could be wrong on that. So if you know which factory it's coming out of, let me know. I'd be curious to hear that. So I'll come back with another one of these.